Hey guys, and we're back for a quick update. This video is going to go over the last 15,000 miles of ownership. Yes, I've owned this car for 15,000 miles now. And I just wanted to go over a brief overview of what's happened so far with the car, what I've done, what I've had to spend money on, and just a brief overview of that 15,000 miles of ownership. Just recently, I released a video revealing the wheels on this car. Go ahead and check that video out. It's part of this video series. It's either the last video or 2 videos ago. I don't really know. But check that video out. It was super cool. The wheels look really good, and look out for more modification content in the near future. Before we get started with this quick update video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing if you want to see more WRX or automotive content. 15,000 miles of ownership. Let's quickly talk about costs. The car hasn't been super expensive to own. It's actually been relatively cheap. The majority of the money that I've spent related to this car have actually been in modifications and just adding things to the car for aesthetics, performance, however you want to categorize it. There have been some things though that were kind of regular things that you're going to have to do as a WRX owner. The first there is going to be oil changes. I've done my oil every 3,000 miles, typically, roughly about that. I think I've done 5, maybe 6 oil changes. I've just tried to do it a little bit shorter, obviously because I bought the car used, and I just want to make sure that I understand the car fully with clean oil. And yeah, so I think I've done 6 oil changes, maybe 5 or 6 oil changes. I do the oil changes myself, but if you're doing them at the dealer, you're looking at about $500 or $600. They seem to be between $75 and $100, depending on where you are. I'd say doing them myself, you probably want to do a $40 investment in Rhino ramps. That's going to be a one-time investment. And then per oil change, you're probably looking at $30 or $40 for a filter, a new crush gasket, and some 5W30 full synthetic oil. Gas mileage has been really good in this car. I think I've been averaging about 30. That's probably pretty high because I do a lot of highway driving, doing about 80 to 100 miles every day on the highway, and those trips are getting like 33 to 35 because I'm in I mode obviously while I do that. And then that really affects the overall average because, I'm not getting near that when I'm driving in the city or I'm driving and having a little bit of fun. So my average is a bit high, but I think I've been averaging just around 30 miles to the gallon of premium. So out of every sports car that I've ever owned, this has been the cheapest on gas, and I'm really happy with that. The last cost to own, surprisingly, actually was the tires. I just replaced the tires when I did the wheels. They needed to be replaced anyways. I basically drove the stock tires, the Dunlop Sport Maxes, until they were like being shredded apart. It was really bad. I probably shouldn't have gone that far. I had 2 nails in the front right, 1 nail in the rear left, and they were in terrible condition. And I knew I was gonna spend like, almost $1,000 on tires anyways, so I decided to change the wheels and save on that cost and then get some winters for the stock tires. But wheels on the all-wheel drive cars, if you're getting decent wheels, you're getting 35 to 50,000 miles. On the WRXs, if you're getting decent tires, you can expect to get 35 to 50,000 miles. I think 50,000 is a little bit much, even though the tires and the companies will claim that. I think you're closer to about 30,000 miles. That was a bump and a half. And I think all told, you're probably looking about $1,000 if you're getting them installed and you're doing a balance and an alignment every time you do it. You probably can get really cheap tires, but I don't think it's worth it. It's not worth the risk unless you're getting some type of warranty behind those tires, where if anything happens, you're gonna get them fixed at no cost. That was the costs. Has anything broken on me? Has this car ever failed me? And the quick answer is no. I've been in a few situations where if you don't change the oil every 3,000 miles, the car runs and idles a little bit rough, and I don't like driving it when it gets to that point without changing the oil. So I think there's been a couple times where myself as a very nitpicky owner, I've decided not to take it to work and either take a different car or get to work by other means. However, it's been a super reliable car so far, knock on wood. Nothing has hindered me. I've never broken down. You shouldn't expect to, so I would be disappointed if I did, and that would definitely be a factor to consider in the long-term ownership of the car. What's my biggest complaint so far? I think the biggest complaint has been the exterior upkeep. With the dark gray metallic, if you've seen my other video, it's really hard to keep this dark gray metallic and it just seems like every little thing leaves like the little like clear coat scratches, and you just have to do a lot of work to maintain the super clean car. You don't have to maintain the car like that. I just prefer to. I like to show off my car. I want people to look at my car and be like, wow, it's in great condition. So that's just me, but I have to say, that's probably the biggest complaint so far. If I were to do a second kind of follow-up complaint there, it would be that I think that Subaru could have focused a little bit more on the interior comfort and like expectations while driving. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the sound system in the stereo sucks, and I drive enough now that I listen to a lot of music, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I mean, for a car that sold just under $30,000 in 2015, why the heck does it not have a better sound system? Like, I understand that like you need to pay more for the HK system, but there's got to be some middle ground and not this like tinny, really bad sound system. I think the biggest takeaway from this 15,000 mile update is that there's probably going to be another 15,000 miles at least to come, and I think that's a really positive thing. It's been the best 15,000 miles of any other car that I've owned. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive than the other cars that I've owned, and owning it is a little bit more expensive just because I'm putting expensive modifications on it. Well, relatively expensive. But that being said, it's been a really positive 15,000 miles. I drive this car to what Subaru would call hard driving, and basically what I mean is I'm just driving in traffic, I'm driving lots of miles, I'm putting a lot on this car, and it's holding up and doing a great job, and it's really, I mean, it's serving itself well as a car. And I know that sounds silly, but when you buy a sports car and you drive it, and you know, for all of you guys out there that have had sports cars, sometimes things happen. They're not, you know, they can be not so reliable, and that's been the exact opposite with this car. The Subaru name is really living up to what it's supposed to be. I know this was a really quick update, guys, and I think I'll be doing them every kind of major milestone. I think when I hit 25,000 miles or 30,000 miles, I'm going to do a quick update you guys with where I'm at with the car. And I've got a lot of really cool stuff coming out in the near future. Obviously, I did the wheel video. I'll be doing more videos about the wheel. I'm going to be doing a lot more cool videos. I've got a couple collaborations coming up. It should be a cool next couple months with this channel. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and I appreciate you guys sticking through the video. Thanks.